Okay. Roll call, I've already done. We have Bob, Mary's absent, Bob present, Ellen present, Carol present, Sarah present, Chris present, and now Arnie's present. What about the gentleman that wants to join? Is he able to join us, or does he have to call in?
Is he a member or is he a?
No, he has not been, I had an email exchange with him. He's very interested in joining. He has submitted his application to the clerk's office.
Oh, right.
So he cannot officially be a member until we get notification that he's been approved by the clerk's office. It's up to him whether or not he calls in tonight as a member of the public.
Okay. So you did not hear from him as far as a member of the public. Okay.
No, and there is no public list. Oh, wait a minute, hold on a minute. Let me just double check this.
Yeah, we have a public meeting, the fourth item on the agenda.
Right,
Okay.
I'm just looking to see if we have anybody, and we view all attendees. Oh, we have me as a call-in user, and 732, is that one of you guys?
No, not me.
Is everybody else using a phone? Okay, then somebody else has called in, is listening in on a phone. So when the time comes for the public, we will invite them to speak.
Okay.
And that doesn't appear on the screen, huh?
It appears on my screen as the
Host, okay.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay, secretary's report. Has everybody reviewed the minutes of the last meeting? Is there any changes to the minutes?
They looked good to me.
Move to approve.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted by the secretary.
So who was that, Arnie or Sarah? I heard Arnie first.
Sarah is moving to accept the minutes as presented.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay.
And that was Arnie.
Yes.
Treasurer's report? Do we have one?
No, I don't have I'm sorry, I don't have a treasurer's report tonight.
Okay.
I'm still working out the logistics for getting that. Hopefully we'll have that figured out by the time we meet again.
Okay. So somebody needs to make a motion to open the meeting to the public.
Motion.
I'll second it if no one else will.
Yeah.
Was that?
So
Yes.
Oh, Chris?
the gentleman on the phone, can you put him on to see if he wants to,
I'm not sure. I'm trying to unmute the gentleman on the phone and it's not unmuting, or the woman or gentleman on the phone. It's a 732 number, 789. I don't know if you can hear me, but I cannot unmute you. Why won't that let me unmute? This thing is acting very strange. Here, unmute. There you go. 732. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, guys. It's me, Connor.
hey, Connor.
Oh, hey, Connor. What are you doing out there?
I didn't receive an invitation to join the meeting tonight.
Yeah, you did. I think it went to your spam folder. It has WebEx in the heading.
Connor,
Yeah,
Sarah just sent another one about 3 minutes ago that I received. It wasn't in my spam folder. It came to my regular one, but I didn't receive any of the others. So maybe you have just received one in the last minute or two.
No, I only sent that to you, Arnie, but I can send it. Did you find it, Connor?
It's tied into my work email. I don't have access to that.
Okay. Oh, so you don't have your. Okay. What email should I send it to?
You send it to my first and last name at Gmail.
Okay. Hold on a minute.
Sure.
But you're the only public present, so I guess we can close the meeting to the public.
Make a motion.
But that's going to close him. Why don't you wait till we find out that he's able to get
No,
on?
I won't unmute him. I'll leave him where he is, but we can formally close the meeting to the public. because there's no public.
Okay,
Just out of,
Arnie making the motion?
Oh, so Barney.
Motion to close, is that what you're asking for?
Yes, please.
You got it.
Okay, second?
I second.
Okay. Okay. As everybody's keeping track of their CEUs and volunteer hours? Right?
yeah, I'm still, and I need to get caught up on that, but I'm still trying to put the hours together from last year. So if anybody didn't send me theirs and you know who you are, please get them to me ASAP. I have to get the annual reports in.
Okay. So let's move on to
Even if you, excuse me, Chris, if I could just add to that, and that's just even if you attended 1 or 2 meetings last year, I still need you to submit hours. So if you need a report to submit them on, let me know. I can send you materials.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll move on to
I
tree
just sent you
plantings,
that
projects, and maintenance updates. Memorial Forest is pretty much dead in the water at this time, right? Sarah?
Oh, you're
Memorial
asking me
Forest
that?
is pretty much.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from the township about moving forward with the COVID Memorial Park or anything. So, you know, it's not really up to us to lead that project. So until somebody else steps forward with, you got to do this, then I think we're waiting to hear from some other people. You know,
Okay.
It's just not really ours.
We'll see. I'll try and bring it up again and see if anybody wants to. Oh, we really should bring it up at town council, see if they want to move it forward. Because they, you know,
Oh,
Yeah.
that was under recreation anyway, so if Bo Burdick's not gonna push it forward, I don't know, the town council, I mean, it has to be brought to the town council once it's a comprehensive idea.
they have.
But what about bringing it up at open space where recreation is represented? The mayor comes
Oh.
to those meetings,
Okay.
and it's an open space property we're talking about.
Yeah, I could bring it up at the next open space meeting next month. If I remember. Remind me, Arnie. Do we want to,
I'll remind you if you remind me.
yeah. So we're gonna change Memorial Forest into a COVID Memorial Forest. Is that it?
That was the last thing that Ellen and I heard about it, but
Okay.
I
Was
don't-
that
I don't know
discussed
it's
here?
actually turning. I don't think that was
don't
a
remember
matter
that
of
being
formal-
discussed here.
Me neither.
I don't think that was a formal discussion of changing the name. I think that's just how they were talking about adding a COVID memorial to the Memorial Forest. Wasn't that right, Ellen?
Yeah, it wasn't about redesignating Memorial Forest. It was just one of the
Yeah.
locations considered for, or one of the options. It was a very, very early, it wasn't even early, it was pre-early. It was more in the, not even conceptual phase yet. It was just a consideration of a conception.
Where was this discussed?
There was sort of an ad hoc, if that's the right term, group that Alice Osipowitz put together to just hash out the idea. And I think it was presented at one open space meeting with
Tara was kind of took it over and was going to take it to open space, and it was really in her ballpark from there forward.
I
And
don't remember it
recreation's
being
ballpark.
discussed at open space, but it's possible I dozed through that part of the meeting.
It's very easily I doze. They caught me on camera sleeping.
You were there, Chris. I was sitting in Memorial Forest as that was going on in my car. Getting yelled
Okay.
at.
So, Connor, what the next one be? Hamilton Forest redevelopment planning. How is that going? Have they redone the sidewalks and curbs over there? Connor, do you know?
I don't know how far they got, but I did talk to Carl about that today. He said that it does not concern DPW. I was told that that is a Hamilton Street Business District thing.
Okay, so when they plant the trees, who's going to water them? Is it Township not going to water them, or who's going to? Just out of curiosity, I'm not saying, I just was curious who was going to be responsible for watering those trees.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. That was it. I also brought up the fact that I know in past meetings we talked about the idea of doing a spring planting because we missed last year's fall planting. And I remember someone brought it up about us not having the resources, which is exactly what is happening. We just don't have the resources to water all the trees throughout the summer. So,
So maybe we can do it in the fall, Connor.
yeah, we could do a tree planting in the fall, no problem. But I don't know if the township is going to be responsible for the Hamilton Street plantings. I could ask, but I don't think that they'll end up being responsible for it.
I'll try and bring up it at the open space meeting because I have a bunch of people there that could answer that question.
I'm sorry,
When
can I
we,
just clarify, was that for planting the trees or watering the trees or both? What was the
No,
question?
planning is in the contract, is in the contractor's contract.
Oh, so your question was who's going to water them
Who can
thereafter?
maintain the trees? Yes.
Okay, maintaining them, okay.
when we got together to work with a consultant, one of the items I put in there and I believe was accepted, that there was a 2-year guarantee, I think, on the plantings, on the life of the trees. And I don't know the particular on that, whether it was going to be the contractor was going to maintain them for 2 years, or just guarantee the trees for 2 years. But I believe that wording was accepted somehow, that for 2 years, because my concern was that they put these things in, and if they are diseased initially, if they're substandard plantings and they die, we are left holding the bag as far as the money to replace those.
Right.
So I think I talked about a 2-year maintenance plan or something. Can anybody look into that to see exactly what there is? Because
I will see if I can look into that. That would have to be in the contract.
Speaking of
Yes.
holding the bag or bags, wouldn't these trees have gator bags on them? So it would alleviate some of the strain on the DPW of watering them as frequently as they should be?
Well, water bags only last about a week. You really need to fill them up every week.
Right.
So,
well, if it's in the contract that it's supposed to be maintained by whoever planted them, then it's a not a concern of ours. That's up to them to maintain it. However,
yes, for the first 2 years.
right.
So
So they should be well established after that.
You would think.
But there was some type of verbiage I put in there, and I believe it was accepted. Be some type of maintenance or guaranteed for 2 years. There's a bond on that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, they probably put a bond on the trees for 2 years. The contractor probably had to put a bond on it for 2 years.
Okay, well, that's great.
Okay, so JFK is an ongoing.
Hold on, one other thing. Connor, do you know the percentage of trees that have been planted so far? Ballpark?
As far as percentage of towards what?
Yeah, where as far as what where?
Along Hamilton in the project.
I have no clue. I haven't been told anything. I don't know any kind of details on it.
All right, can we find that out for next meeting?
Yeah, I can take a look.
You have to go to engineering to find that out. They're responsible for that.
Okay.
If you have a problem with that, I'll contact engineering for you, if you want, Connor.
Elton,
That'll give us an idea on how far along this is.
Elton Street.
Because the township engineer should be sending inspectors out there to review the project.
Oh,
Right, and then this would also, if the developer is supposed to be putting the trees in. So, I'd like to know, maybe we can see if they're going to be due spring planting.
Well, that is township engineer. We'll have to contact him and see where
Very
it's
good.
at.
Thank you.
Okay. So,
Excuse me a minute, I just got an email from Stephen Galuli, and he is on the call tonight as an attendee. So at the next opening to the public, we can bring him on to say hi again.
okay. So, Naaman Williams Park was completed. Inman Park is completed. Middle Bush Park is completed.
What about JFK?
That one's ongoing.
That's
I
been
mean-
ongoing for 3 years now.
It's going to be every year. It's going to be going. Trees. There's at least 20 ash trees out on JFK that are eventually going to need to get replaced. So
Okay, but I'm specifically talking about the adjusting for 2 groups of 3 trees. We've been asking for that for 3 years.
we discussed this. We discussed this last meeting.
Yep,
They were looking into the feasibility or cost of moving the trees versus of cost of removing and planting new trees.
right, okay, that's fine. Because of the maturity, yes, and the proximity to the 2 groups of 3 trees to each other, they may have grown intertwined, and if you remove one, you may not,
They haven't gotten that big yet. I go by it almost every day.
So is it possible for DPW to go out, and I believe it's the 2 outside trees of the group that need to be removed, the middle tree stays there. Isn't it possible for DPW to just go out and remove those 2 outside trees and see what happens, see if the middle tree survives it? That's what we've been asking for, I think, for 3 years.
Okay. Connor?
Yeah. So, back in November, I contacted a company about getting a spade, and then I unfortunately got COVID. So I haven't been in touch with the gentleman since, but I have talked to the foreman, Carl, and he does think, well, they both think that we can dig these trees up and move them in the spring. We're not going to do anything with the snow or anything on the ground right now, but we will do something in the spring.
you said there's a third party that's going to do this?
No, I looked into that. I lost contact with the guy, but Public Works is just going to end up doing the work, and then we'll just dig them up, just move them carefully, and just kind of hope for the best.
I would think at this point, for the sake of expediency and not go on to the 4th year, that if you have to sacrifice the outer 2 trees, we do it. But let's just get that done, because we're going on to the 3rd, 4th year now. And
Well-
just do it.
Connor, you said that you have
you
to
know, if they
rent,
can
you have
dig
to
'em up
rent a
and-
spade?
No, they're not. He said they were going to rent a spade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we looked into it, but again, I lost contact with the guy. I haven't received another email from him, so I'm not sure what happened. But again, we're just gonna do the work ourselves, dig them up, move them, and see what happens and hope for the best.
Great,
Yeah,
I think that sounds
I agree.
good.
Very good, thank you. So that's going to be a target this spring, correct?
Yes, we are gonna be looking to do that in the spring.
Okay.
Okay. So that'll be that. Okay, public information.
Before we go on there, Middle Bush Park, I know it says completed. Also Inman Park, what are we doing about maintenance on those?
We had a
gator
lengthy
bags.
discussion about, yeah. Bob,
What?
we had a lengthy discussion about this at the last meeting.
Yeah.
And there's Connor and the DPW have a list of trees and removal of gator bags and taking off of ties and supports and stuff like that. So it's something
All
we're
right,
getting
I did
into
see
this
that
spring.
real fast.
Yeah, so that's going to be happening this spring. So it's already on the agenda.
Anything discussion about the retention basin at Middle Bush?
As regards what?
Yeah, I know.
That's just, I think they're just waiting for the trees to die. You can't move them.
Well, no, I'm not saying move them. Can we plant some in there?
What, in the detention basin?
Yeah.
No, you can't plant
What?
stuff in the detention
You
basin.
can't put
It
stuff in the
floods
no.
and it'll just die. We can plant.
Wait a minute. Okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding. There was a ruling, I believe, a couple of years ago by New Jersey DEP that you can't go into detention basin and do some planting.
Are you talking about the one at the entrance to Middle Bush Park where
Yes.
where the two willow trees died?
Yeah, whatever's
The one
left
that-
there.
Yeah, that thing fills up with water. You can't put trees in that. They won't survive. That's
Not
the
even
reason
bald
those
cypress?
ones in there did die. No. But it's not wet enough to support bald cypress. It'd have to stay wet for them. Pretty wet. It
Yeah,
dries
it
out
dries out in the
summertime.
summer. It gets rock hard during the summertime. So
Yeah,
cypress would never.
yeah.
Plus, it's not a swamp. It's basically rock underneath it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then it's not a area conducive for growing a tree.
No.
No.
Originally,
That's the
that's why we put those
that's the reason we've
stuff
been-
on the side.
Okay, Connor, no one heard you. Can you say that again, please?
I said that's originally why we ended up putting those willow trees up on the side. That way they weren't totally submerged into the middle of the retention basin.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Maybe they didn't get enough water. Maybe they got too much even where they were.
Okay.
But, we did try it.
I'll give you credit for that.
All right, at least we don't have standing dead trees.
Okay.
With gator bags on them.
Yeah.
In the middle of
Yeah.
a pond.
What did I say one meeting? They were the life jackets for
Yeah.
Well, those are
Yeah.
for the lying down trees.
for when they fall
embarrassing.
over, they'll keep floating. All right, Mr. Chairman. I yield.
Okay. Public inquiries, we have Sarah, anybody contact you about any concerns about trees? I saw an email from somebody looking for our website.
Right. That's the only thing that I got. It was forwarded to us and I sent it to you from the from Krista Hedigus at the who's taking care of the website, IT person.
Right.
And someone was looking for a link to try to understand better how fees are assessed for removal of trees for commercial properties. The link was broken. So she gave them the new link and then just sent us that email in case you wanted to follow up to see what else the guy needed. But that's it. That wasn't a direct request.
The whole thing is the fees is in the ordinance. So
Right. So she
as
just
long as
sent
he
him
has
a
the
link
ordinance,
for
it
the ordinance.
basically details it.
Right. So I think
was a
that's the only thing that
developer?
I heard about.
They did not say whether it was a developer or not.
But it was regarding
but-
the, that issue of, I just had a little trouble hearing. It was somebody requesting information about the ordinance about
The
replacing.
cost they have to pay for removing trees for
Okay.
development.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
Okay.
it wasn't a direct request for that information. They had submitted a report to IT saying the link to the ordinance was
Oh.
broken on our website.
Okay.
And so she fixed it, sent him the link to the ordinances, and then forwarded his email to us so that if we wanted to, we could follow up. It's not required.
Okay.
And I'm assuming it was a developer. I think I looked at the email address and it looked corporate. I don't know. I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay. We haven't done anything with the website yet, right?
Correct.
Okay, we'll move on.
If I can make a comment on that. So the Environmental Commission has been working with IT about making revisions on their website. And so Bob McQueen told us that they are in the process of redoing the whole township website, which is about a 12 to 18 month undertaking. So now would be the time to get any recommendations into Bob McQueen, and the best way to do it, we're told, is to send anything we would like to see done to the help desk. And then they
Great.
would give it a ticket number, and then they would consider it and work on it.
Yeah, when
Okay.
I submitted the change in officers to them and sent in the last set of minutes, Bob and Krista did get in contact with me and tell me that they were changing the format for that page, but Krista didn't let me know that they were actually doing the whole site. So that's really good to know. Thanks, Arnie. I will, yeah. Mary and I are still planning on chatting about this and kind of refreshing, dusting off the stuff that we presented to you guys quite a while ago. And I just need to get out from underneath the annual report before I'll have the bandwidth to do that.
No problem. I
probably
understand your.
Not the next meeting, but probably the one after that.
Okay. Okay. Our website has Ashbor data on it. Our website has the spotted lanternfly on it.
Yes.
So now the Franklin Times, are they going to be sending out any Franklin Times anytime soon?
I haven't received anything.
My understanding is that it's on hold these days, that they don't have anything scheduled to go out anytime in the near future.
Okay. So Boy Scout tagging project, that was Arnie's. Is that going anywhere, Arnie?
Not right now. No.
Okay.
COVID.
COVID.
And Arbor Day is up in the air yet, as far as I know?
Yeah, I haven't received any formal notifications from the state about allowances. The only thing that I did send to you, Chris, was, and we actually have to make a decision about it tonight, is the free trees, the free saplings. I sent that to you. I forwarded to you.
Oh, that's right. We're supposed to discuss that. I didn't think, since we weren't having a Arbor Day, I didn't think it was a good idea for us to take the trees, because we'd have no way of handing them out.
Are we still thinking about doing something in Kingston at that school?
I haven't heard from the school.
After COVID, yeah.
Well, I was thinking maybe in the fall, possibly. Hopefully by then we might be able to do something by then if they're still interested in doing it.
Yeah, but the thing I was just talking to Chris about, or just trying to bring to your attention that I'd sent to Chris, was that we'd received another notice from the state from Alex. What's his last name, Chris?
Oh,
Alex.
You're asking the wrong person. I'm terrible.
The state forester. Sorry.
It's the forester, Alex. Everybody knows Alex.
Yeah, the forester, Alex. I don't have his email in front of me. He sent us, they're offering the tree recovery campaign free seedlings again, the little tiny things. And, we've had previous discussions about this. We don't have the capacity to bank those trees or hold them for ourselves to give out at another time. So that is definitely not anything I think we should entertain again. And I agree with Chris. If we don't have an Arbor Day event, which, considering COVID, there's no way by April we're going to be talking to people and handing out trees, and I'm not standing in front of a group of people and talking about Arbor Day event or anything. So even if the state doesn't cancel it, I think we would probably I would recommend that we do what we've done in the past, where we just have DPW plant a memorial tree somewhere, and, you know, we can get the mayor to read a proclamation about Arbor Day, but that we don't have anything in person at all.
You have to
until, a more
excuse me
safe
for a
time.
minute. Hey, Arnie, talk about the green roof agenda.
Uh-oh.
Say what?
Yeah, well, before we do, does anybody have any concerns or questions about that for Arbor Day and the tree recovery campaign trees? Are you guys in agreement?
You mean
Can I go forward?
you mean the deer feeding program?
Yeah, this is not what it would be.
I have to.
I guess Chris
Okay,
left
so-
the room. That's why he wanted me
Yeah.
to talk about something.
I apologize for having to
Yeah.
leave the room.
I spoke
Chris,
about the
I
green
just
roofs while you were gone, Chris.
Good. Where does that stand anyway, Arnie? You guys gonna move
Wait,
forward
Chris,
with the
Chris,
ordinance?
Chris,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, before you move forward on that, could we finish the item that's on the table, which is the tree recovery campaign and Arbor Day?
Yes.
Okay.
I
So just
apologize.
clarifying with everybody that they're all in agreement that given COVID, there's really it's not a good idea to hold an Arbor Day event, so that we don't have a place to hand out trees, and that if the state doesn't waive the requirement to hold an Arbor Day event, because they haven't done that yet, that we would do what we've done in like 1 year and then not too distant past, where we had DPW plant a tree, and then we would have the mayor read a proclamation at a Zoom meeting to state that it was Arbor Day, and we would let it go at that.
That sounds like a great idea.
Everyone-
I like that idea, Sarah.
Good idea.
Yeah, I agree. It has to be remote. There's
Yeah.
nothing in person that can happen
Yeah.
this year.
Okay. So we're not going to do the tree recovery campaign trees? Agreed.
Yes. Agreed.
Okay. All right. All right. Do you want me to follow up on that, Chris, and confirm we're not doing it?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. I will do that. Great. Thank you.
Okay. So, Arnie, you've talked about the green roof thing?
So the green roof thing. So as part of the stormwater management plan that Carl is working on with Mark Healy,
Excuse me.
the township needs to have a new stormwater management plan supposedly in place by March 2nd, I believe it is, as per state requirements. The Environmental Commission sent a whole bunch of stuff to Carl and Mark, one of them being green roofs, hoping that they would be a part of the stormwater management plan where you have, 50,000 square foot warehouses or other projects that have flat roofs or relatively flat roofs where they're taking down a lot of trees. They can put green roofs on, and there's other things. But this also in part has to do with the landscape guidelines. I know I spoke to Ellen and Bob about this recently, and I think I spoke about it at our last meeting, the possibility of having a subcommittee with the Environmental Commission, because the Environmental Commission is looking to make changes in the tree ordinance. And I know that the Shade Tree Commission has been talking about that for a year or so also. So I mentioned it to Environmental, and I mentioned it here about having a subcommittee, a joint subcommittee between the two. And I believe Ellen and Bob, but I don't want to speak for you, but I will, and then you can deny it, said that you might be willing to be a part of that. And we have an environmental meeting on Monday, and I would bring it up again. And if you guys agree to it, then we would just have to figure out a first date as to where we want to go, where the people could get together on it and see where we want to go. At least have a first meeting and see what happens from that. And part of what the Environmental Commission is looking at is, we've got over $200,000 in the Shade Tree Trust Fund. And that's not doing us much good when they're cutting down trees all over the place and we're losing rather than gaining our canopy. So they're hoping to see if there's a way we can use that money for other things other than just planting trees, possibly helping with a green roof on a project. That's just one idea. But I don't even know, maybe Sarah knows or maybe somebody else knows, whether that you can only plant trees. Is that a Franklin idea, reasoning, or part of the ordinance, or is that something from the state that says you can only use it for planting trees? So that's something that we would have to find out also. But it would be good, I think, if the two committees got their heads together and just had some kind of preliminary discussion to see where everybody wants to go with what kind of changes we're looking at. So that's my thought on that. What do you guys think?
I'm for it. If everybody else is for it, I think we should all agree to it, or most of us should agree to that.
Well,
Sarah,
it's great if everybody agrees to it. It's a matter of, we need at least 2 people from Shade Tree. I would say at least 2 people.
Well, you can't have you can't have a quorum, so you can't have 4.
Well, if we have 2 people, I guess I would be the liaison, as the liaison from environmental to Shade Tree. But if we had 2 other people from here and 2 people, let's say, from environmental.
Okay. Does anybody want to volunteer?
Yeah, I'll volunteer.
Well, I already did, so.
Okay, so there's your 2, Lonnie.
I was going to
Okay.
volunteer Ellen.
Ellen and Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
I will
Nice to see you again, Bob.
I will bring that to the Environmental Commission. Now, what I
Arnie?
did.
Arnie, can you give us a little more detail, if you know of, what do you think they're talking about as far as involving trees? I'm not really grasping this, what they want to do.
Well,
If they're looking,
Thank you.
are they looking for
they're looking for other ways to spend the money. Since there's so many trees, since we have all this money and nobody's planting trees, possibly finding other places to plant trees, or whether we can plant bushes instead of trees, or
Okay.
whether we can, help somebody with a green roof or a rain garden or something. This all has to do with stormwater management, most of it. So, and I don't want to talk for the committee. I'm just, one person, but I'm sure depending on who's on that committee, they'll have their ideas.
So they have ideas, some things they want to talk about, and we have to either bring to the table at that time or explore what our restrictions are.
You can talk about whatever. You can talk about whatever
Tree is tasked to do or restricted.
You can talk about whatever you want to talk about as far as what you've talked about. You've talked about changing the trees. There's a whole list of trees, and the big part I thought of what you wanted to do was change the list of trees to be used in developments. So that I think that was like the major thing, was changing the list of trees, and I thought that's what some of you guys were working on.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that could be number one of what you're discussing.
Right, it's to update the trees, right?
Right.
So very high level view is just to update the tree recommendations there.
Right. So I think the biggest problem is going to be getting a date together when everybody could do it. Whether a lot of these subcommittees are done during the day. So I don't know how it would work for Ellen and Bob. Would you be available for like an hour during a day, someday in March?
I am.
Yeah. Just not Wednesdays.
Not Wednesdays. Okay.
I can give you a list of days I may not be available. So, but yeah, count me right now.
Well, what I'd like you to do, if possible, is, Ellen, you said not Wednesdays.
I have a standing,
That's
thing.
fine.
Sure.
You don't need to give me any reason, just not Wednesdays. That's fine.
Okay,
And Bob, if you give me days that you're not available, then I can bring those days to the Environmental Commission, meaning
Yes.
that everything else, they'd be available.
Yeah,
And hopefully
I'll
we
send you
can
my
work something
blackout
out.
days. Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
So shoot for, we've got March ahead of us. Let's shoot for sometime in March. Does that work for you
Okay.
guys?
and,
Yeah.
and Arnie, I'm glad, Bob did ask for, just a reminder as to what it was that we agreed to. And, so it was specifically for Bob and me to contribute whatever we might from a shade tree perspective, especially as in light of the fact that we were considering the revision to the landscape guidelines, not so much that we would speak about green roofs or anything, but we would be speaking from a shade tree perspective. Right.
And you can talk about anything from anything from the shade tree perspective, anything in the guidelines that you think you would like to see changed. Not just the list of trees. It can be anything that you see in the guidelines that you think there's a problem with, whether it has to do with how many trees, do you take down that has, the size of trees, if they're taken down, how many do they have to replace? Anything.
Well, I would think, you want to incentivize them putting on a green roof. You would raise the cost of it taking down a tree. That would incentivize them putting on a green, would make a bigger incentive for them to put on a green roof.
I'm not following. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
It costs so much money to take down a tree. If you make it a larger amount to take down that tree, that would give the developer more incentive to put a green roof on if they got credit for putting a green roof on for the trees they remove.
Well, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe what you're saying is that if they take down X amount of trees, 50 trees, that equals 100 square feet of green roof. I don't know, something like that. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking. No, yeah, well, I'm talking about they have to pay so much per tree to take a tree down.
Depending on the size of the tree, yes.
Right. So if we give them credit for that, for putting a green roof on, in other words, they don't have to pay anything if they put a green roof on. Is that what you're looking to do?
Well, it's not a matter of anything. I mean, if they're taking down 400 trees and they put down 100 square feet of green roofs, I don't think that's equal. I think, but that's a equation we have to come up with, because 400 trees is a lot more than, like a 10 by 10 square, 10 by 10 foot green roof. That's all stuff that has to be worked out in the details, but that's the type of thing that we're talking about. But it would also be a matter of, you don't just put a green roof out on there, you have to maintain that green roof.
Right. Sarah, were you going to say something earlier?
I decided not to. I made a note of something to follow up with you on later. I just has to do with the community forestry management plan. And I think you and I have to have a conversation about that first. So.
Okay.
Okay, so I think our role is for Ellen and I just to be a set of ears, to listen to what's being proposed or some of the things they want to do.
No, you're not being a set of ears. You're being a set of ears and a mouth. Unless you don't, you had all these thoughts of what you wanted to change in the landscape guidelines. So those need to be presented.
Okay. All right.
Including, what trees don't belong on the list and what new trees belong on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know that's been something that, Bob, that you've talked about quite a bit over the years.
So this has been a process that's been going on, and this is additional to that, because you lost me a little bit with the green roof thing. That's
one part of it. That's just one.
Okay.
That's just one thing. You know, there could be 100 different ideas. Green roofs
Yeah.
is one idea. Um,
So the whole
changing the trees. The
whole
whole
idea is
landscape.
to-
The whole landscape guidelines are up in the air to be
Okay.
talked about.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Obviously, we don't have any background on green roofs. I'm sure someone else is exploring that.
Yeah, that's not something, you know,
Okay.
that's more of an environmental issue that the environmental group would talk about, I would think.
Okay.
And but you could also contribute as saying, well, if you're gonna take out down X amount of trees, then it should equal X amount of square foot of green roof.
Mm. Yeah.
It's just part of a discussion. I mean, you know, none of
Yeah.
us have really expertise on what
I
equals
know.
what.
I'm just thinking
It's
of
just something to
precedents
discuss,
for other
and
towns.
it might be something that the township says, no, you can't do
Okay.
it.
All
I
right.
don't know, but it's something for us to discuss.
Very good.
Okay, can we move on?
Please do.
Okay. Okay, proposed developments with tree impacts. I do not know of any proposed developments. I see developments going on, but I don't know how it's tree are impacting those developments. Sarah,
What
what
happened
was,
to the progress of the development that's supposed to take place at Cedar Grove and Amwell?
Cedar Grove.
Yeah.
Maybe
What-
that can
You
be,
mean where the houses are supposed to go, like 34 houses?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about that in over a year.
I was just curious.
You mean behind the gas station there?
Yes, right. Behind Restos. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything about that in over a year. It doesn't mean it isn't happening. It might just be waiting for the COVID thing to be over. I don't know.
are they,
I know it was approved.
was the subdivision approved?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subdivision was approved. So they can go in there and they can start construction anytime they want.
I don't know if, you know, it was approved by whoever it is zoning or planning, whoever approved it, but, you know, whether they need more permits from the DEP for anything, I don't know.
Okay.
wait a minute, but is that what you were referring to in this new business item or?
That's a completely different
No.
issue as far as the
That's completely
landscape
different.
guidelines.
Okay,
And since I said landscape guidelines, Bob, if you could just get back to me before the end of the weekend with your dates
Yep.
for that subcommittee, so I have it for Monday's meeting.
I'll shoot them out either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Hey,
Okay.
Arnie. Arnie, on the proposed developments with tree impacts, the last time we met, we were talking about the ones down on South Middlebush by the farm. And
Oh, yeah,
the whole
Snyder's
idea-
Farm? Snyder
Yeah.
Farm?
Yeah, Snyder Farm, and moving the development closer to the road to have less impact on trees. What's come of that? Anything?
Nothing as far as I know. I believe the next zoning board meeting, I believe, is March 4th.
Okay, all right.
I don't have much hope for any change in that, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, thanks.
I saw in the meeting minutes from last month, there was a proposal to put a solar farm in on DeMont Lane.
Yeah, down by Easton Avenue.
I haven't seen, have those plans been presented to the zoning board?
That's the one down by close to DeMott Avenue, right? I mean, down
Yeah.
close to Easton Avenue.
Yes.
Yeah, they want to take down some trees right next to an open area.
They want to take a bunch of trees down.
Yes.
200 trees down.
Where exactly is this located on DeMott? I can't picture it.
When you're going up DeMott, it's on the right-hand side. What's that big, when you go through the woods, what's that, it's like a Parker home sort of place over there, rehab sort of place.
Oh, that's it used to be McCarrick's Clinic. It's an old folks home.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Stein.
Yeah,
Stein,
I think
complex.
it's on that property in
Gotcha.
that area
Okay.
there.
All
Is
right.
that-
I
Is that
got it
right,
now.
Chris?
I'm not sure exactly where it is.
So it's
Pretty
not
sure
near
that's
East-
where, pretty
not
sure
near
that's
Easton
where it
A
Avenue.
is.
residential area, that's gonna be horrible.
Yes, we all agree it's going to be horrible.
That's right in your neck of the woods, Chris.
That's why I brought it up on the last meeting.
You're up at the other end of DeMott Lane.
Yeah, but I get to see it. I know there's a large open space there, right on DeMott Lane.
Right on the right-hand side where those beautiful new benches are.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Is that the area we're looking at?
No. No, they can't build there. That's open space. They can't
Right,
build on that.
Right.
Yeah.
So the one we're looking at is in the Stein residence, the Stein complex.
I believe it's in that area there, yeah.
Okay, because you threw me off a little bit. I thought you said near Easton Avenue.
I did.
It's not. It's way up the other way.
Well, it's,
Actually, Magnolia and DeMott, that area.
I don't know what that is you're talking about.
I didn't think it was there. If it's there, I'm not sure exactly where it is.
The one that I'm thinking of is closer to Easton Avenue.
Okay.
Huh. Trying to think of where there's a bunch of trees.
Anyway, let's move on.
What if it's near the church property there?
Can I have a motion to open the meeting to this?
Motion.
I second it.
Okay. We're open to the general public, Sarah?
Yes, so we are. Hi, Stephen.
Hey guys, Steve's here.
How you doing, Stephen?
Good. No, it's been interesting listening to everything. And yes, the Stein proposal for the ground-based solar array was withdrawn from the zoning board. They have not resubmitted it. It got postponed to a couple meetings, then they pulled it off the agenda, and it has not been resubmitted yet.
Okay.
So nobody knows if it's ever resubmitted or if it's dead on arrival or whatever.
Yay.
Do you know where that is?
Yeah. So if you're going from Easton Avenue toward Amwell, and as you just go by Magnolia and you start going around the bend,
Right.
the trees on your left, in between the driveway that goes into the back area of Stein and the next driveway that goes into the nursing home area, all those trees in the middle would be leveled. There's about 3.5 acres, 310 trees, and they would put up 3.5 acres of ground-based solar panels on galvanized steel trays.
So we're talking about the Jewish old age home.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a Stein complex, right?
Back in there.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
huge chunk of
That's
wood
where the
that
deer
comes out to
live.
DeMott would-
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't they have
So
land back the other way off of the parking lot?
That is
well, I don't
wetlands
know.
back in there. I don't think they can touch that, Bob.
Okay.
They put a building right behind my house because they couldn't put it in the wetlands.
Yep.
That's the expansion they just did in the last 2 years. Yeah.
Well, that was
Yeah.
about
And when they did
10 years ago.
and when they did that one, they said they were going to stop building because they ran out of land, and apparently they found some more.
Yes. Okay. Make a motion to close the meeting to the public if you don't have anything more to say.
Motion.
Nope, that's it for me.
Okay. So all in favor of closing the meeting to the public?
Well, who seconded? Sorry.
I'm waiting for them to second it.
Oh.
I'll second it.
Okay, Bob seconded. So I hope we can, at some time, we can get together again and I'll bring some leaves in and we'll do a little drawology or whatever. Okay,
Dendrology.
motion to close the meeting?
So motion.
Motion.
Sarah,
Did we do
motion
that
to
already?
close the meeting. Second,
We did that already.
We did.
Okay.
No,
we
that was
did.
that was to close to the public.
Ah,
Now we're closing to
Ah.
the meeting.
okay, so Arnie
Sarah was
made the
first.
motion.
Just count me as the closer.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining me.